Hi, welcome back to my channel. Good morning. It is a Wednesday morning. I have a day off and a little bit of a vloggy, chatty video, recapping a few things from the past and a viewer request to recap my wish list that I did, I think probably when I first started my channel, and see how that's changed. So I thought I'd combine it with a little bit of a vlog style practice and whatnot today. So it is just starting to rain on this wonderful March day. I think it might be the 19th today or the 20th. I have no idea. Time has escaped me. So we're going to get some breakfast. I'm going to watch Eries Witchcraft's new video with her deck release and have a look at her new oracle that she's just released, the Penny Dreadful. It's got lots of lore in it that I love and adore. And have some tasties. Let's see what tasties we've got, shall we? I've had my cappuccino today, so I'm fancying a fancy tea now to go with my breakfast, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to let this one go, so let's see what happens. Okay, if you've never seen one of these before, these are the ball blooms for tea. I really don't know what flavour this one is, unless I can see it here, but it says it's for solstice. So it is white tea with the blossom of marigold. So it takes a while to infuse. That's why you have these beautiful teapots. Now I'm going to put boiling water in there, so just wait while I come back. Okay, so once you put your boiling water in, it floats around for a while, and then what will happen is it will slowly start to sink, as I'm trying to look over the camera so you can't see, and then it will slowly, I think you can get the gist there, making you seasick, I do apologise. It begins to unfurl and unfold. It starts out really tight. It reminds me of those Jericho balls that people use for luck and prosperity and for gifting, and you can hide things in. So these very much remind me of those. But it'll take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to fully do what it needs to do before it lands, and then it just slowly sinks to the bottom, and we have a beautiful looking tea. We let it infuse, and then we can pour to enjoy. So let's see from this angle what's going on. These things are so meditative to watch for me. I just find them really, really beautiful to watch, and calming. It just, when you're doing it for yourself, not filming, you just get to sit, or I sit and watch for the 2-3 minutes that this takes. I think it's a beautiful thing that's been created. I have no idea how hard these are to create, but it just fascinates me, truly fascinates me that somebody came up with this concept as well, and I can get to enjoy it. There we go. So it's starting to come down. Let's see. I can see what's inside if I look in from the top, but I think for you to appreciate this from the side, this is the best way to go. I do apologise if it's not the best or most exciting filming to watch, but you can see there's a little tiny bit of string that helps to tie the ball and bed the root together. When I make these, I can refill this pot 2 or 3 times throughout the day, and I just leave it, and I'll drink it cold as well as it infuses. It's quite enjoyable. So you get like a good set of flavour. Obviously with each refill it weakens in flavour, but I'm happy with that. You can see the yellow petals coming out from the inside. How cool is it? Really, I shouldn't have spoke throughout this and let you just watch it at fast speed, shouldn't I? I should have fast forwarded. But while I'm talking, how are you doing? What is your kind of luxurious go-to drinks, the things that you do that takes time, gives you the mindful, peaceful moments? Have you ever tried these? I don't see or hear many people talk about them. Oh, there we go. You see the beautiful yellow marigold inside. I mean, isn't that just such a delightful treat? It feels extravagant as well, doesn't it? So let's have a look from the top. I don't make you feel too sick. There we go. So you can see. Now I understand it's not for everyone. Some people might be thinking, what an ugly looking thing, but I just love these. There's so many different shapes as well. There's one that looks like a little tiny lily that unfurls inside. So we're there, so I can put my lid on, and I can just let that one keep going, keep the heat in for a little bit longer. And now let's find a cup. What cup shall I use today? I have a selection. I have a cup fetish. I don't like matching cups, firstly, although I happen to have two there. I don't know how I managed to get two, but I happen to have two Little Miss Sunshines, but they're slightly different in the colour and the text. So, am I feeling like a white witch? Do I want Halloween? I love these. I think I prefer to have my hefty cappuccinos and things in these. You all know about this one. I think I've shown in a previous video. That's hilarious. I love to give that to guests to scare them. Do I want to be a unicorn today? Maybe some brew. Ooh, how about Dash of Magic? That one's good. Always a good one. And I do like this one when I have blended teas. Of course, we have another cauldron back here. I have pumpkins. Hug mugs are my favourites. In case you're noticing, I have a lot of large, very large mugs. They are my favourites, and of course I have my celestial. Am I feeling celestial? There we are. Hello, did you see me in that one? Am I feeling celestial? Oh, there we go. Magic mirrors. Celestial. I'm thinking a dash of magic. Let's have a dash of magic today. Okay, so my flowers have dropped. I've turned the teapot round so you get a better view of the bloom. We have my cup. So, been sat for a few minutes. Let's have a pour. It's a good one. I'm surrounded by some weird magical items today because my father-in-law passed away, and we've had to undertake the, task of emptying the house. And turns out he was rather magical. So we happen to have his Athame here. And that will give you an idea of what he was linked to. But this is something fascinating. I've never seen one before. It's so heavy. I think it's cast iron and then it'll be gilt. And these are made in England, and it must be part of the Golden Dawn. But it's just fascinating, and it buzzes. You can feel the energy vibration of it. It's really quite curious to have. So we're wondering where we're going to put these things and what we'll do with them. And then we have my breakfast. Look at this treat. So I have got crushed walnuts, pancakes, mango, sugar-free yogurt. So it's plant-based yogurt, pomegranates. I always have pomegranates. I absolutely adore them. And I have Courtney's Penny Dreadful here ready to watch, and I think you can see you can see me in there as well. Everything's very reflective. And to my side is the Kalat cards that I am learning to get to grips with, because I don't read Lenormand, so therefore the system to reading this I'm finding really quite difficult. However, I am liking using them as an oracle card and a clarifier, but that's not really what the system's for. It is designed to be so much more than that. So this is something that's here. And if you go to my 11 decks I'm currently crushing on, this features heavily in there at the end. It's the last deck that comes up with these 3 decks, because that's how I've been working with it. So again, like I say, not how it's been designed to work with, but this is me finding my way working with it. So we've got that one there. And I am going to just turn the volume down because, copyright. I'm going to enjoy watching the flip through of this Penny Dreadful deck while I eat my breakfast, and then we'll come back and maybe do some morning pulls before we get into the nitty-gritty of the video. And I can say this deck looks amazing. It's definitely going onto my wish list for make playing cards, so that will be on there. And there's another one that I know that's out from Amethyst Ascension that is on there, so that gives me 2 decks. I'll check the prices, and then that will make me, for April, I'll know then whether I can buy 2 decks or 3 decks, because as you know, postage packaging to UK is shocking, absolutely shocking. So it has to be more than 1 deck. And obviously I need to really want it. This one I really want. It looks gorgeous. And I think this is what I'm going to watch next. I do love Tamara from Willowing. She used to inspire some of my coloured art that I tried out about 3 years ago. And then I kind of stopped, weirdly. I joined up for her art class, and I signed up for a whole year of classes, and I never attended any because I ran out of time. So what I've learned from that is don't sign up for things unless you know you can commit. And most of my life, I genuinely cannot commit. So although I'm supporting people, I'm not really supporting myself. And I've learned that now. And that goes, it's the same with Patreons, unfortunately, for me. I have supported 3 or 4 Patreons in my time, and I've never attended anything that they've done. Oh my God. Even like logging in to watch their videos. So again, I've learned this. So my life is so short of time and YouTube, but this is what I'm going to be watching next. So what are you watching? Ugh, I just love the way she draws and what she comes out with. It's amazing. It's so messy and scruffy, but the end result's gorgeous. And the way she just tips everything off with her Posca pens to add detail. If you haven't watched Willowing, you need to find her and check out what she does. It's very inspiring, multi-mixed media artwork that it just makes you feel like you can do it. Okay, I've decided I'm doing this Mad Witch style, and it's going to flit around all over the place. Just get yourself a cup of coffee and sit down, I think. So I'm going to water my plants because I need to keep the video running, and I just realised there's a lot of things that I need to do. So I'm just going to water a little bit of water into my beautiful orchid. This was given to me a few years ago. I've got 2 stems on it, and for the last 12 months I have had a continuous stem of flowers one way or another. So I've got this one coming. This has been in flower since end of January, I think, and this one finished flowering beginning of January. Excuse the mess outside, but it feels like this one's going to give me some more offshoots. So I haven't been able to cut them down because they just keep going. So that's where we're at, and I do occasionally, when they fall, I'll take one and save it. That's just my little Halloween house. I'm going to water this one. I saved 10 plants, but unfortunately only one of them has managed to live from a bunch of flowers. And then, excuse me while I take you on a sickly walk around the house with me to my other plants. So we're going to water this one. I can never quite see, so I have to go. It does take a lot of water. Oh, excuse me. So just wait till I can see the water bubbling on the top usually. I'm starting to get there. There it is. And then these were gifted to me. These are money plants. So just probably about once every 2 weeks they get watered. Oh, sorry. Let me put my doodah back. There we go. That one's just needs straightening up a bit. So, and outside, I haven't been out to look yet, but over there is my little nature pond. So I need to go and check what's going on at some point. Now, let's go and look at some cards that I've been playing with. Okay, so my morning play with the Kalat cards is the deck in the middle. So what we have here is I am using the Mythologica Fenica Tarot for an earth deck, so kind of an elemental reading, although I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with this. I am using the Elemental North Tarot for air. I am using the Modern Tarot Reader, aka, can't remember what it used to be called, but by Claire Goodchild. Loads of people have got that deck as fire, and water is the Good Tarot by Colette Ballon Reed. And then spirit is Kalat cards. And for the spirit card, I have number 2, which is the snow globe. Now I'm playing with it this way round because this is how I've been called to play with it, and I can't tell you why for any particular reason, but this is what I want to do with it. I cannot read Kalat cards as they come and as they're designed, but I can read this way. So I'm breaking myself into the Kalat cards and the understanding of the cards my way. So I'm doing it my way, and then I'll get there eventually. But this is a system within its own as well, and most of my cards in my, or no, not most, I do have a few systems on my shelves that have their own systems to work with. So as with all things, that means it takes time and dedication, and you need to get to know them. But you can lay these out as you would a Lenormand, so it's its own version of Lenormand with all its own meanings, and you'd lay out a grand tableau, or you can lay out a 9-card spread, and then depending on what's next to what will depend on how you read the card. And there is Facebook groups to support for the hive mind for this, but you must have the deck to join the group or to be invited to join the group. And they'll do like daily things in there to ask as well. Kalat library. I was really enjoying that group because Dennis Kalat, from the creator of the cards, would put stuff up in there and how he is representing and reading those 2 cards or 3 cards together, however he's laying up the spreads. And that was really useful as someone trying to get to understand how to put a sentence together with these cards, because I can't do that. I've not been able to do it with Lenormand, and I can't do it with the Kalats at this point in time. But as I say, time will tell. And my friend Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension, I mean, she's going great guns with this. She's got this deck and she's able to do the 9-card spread. She does say it takes a lot of unpicking, but I can't do that. So here we are, and here's what I'm doing. But let's read about the globe. So the snow globe is predictable, repeating, satisfied, control, ongoing, passive, secure, durable, safe. Your world, surroundings. So this is what Spirit's telling me. So this is a message from Spirit, basically. Now, ideally, what I would then do is I'd lay out another 2 cards next to it and see what's going on, but I haven't. So we have got the water element is telling me the Queen of Fire. So power, surroundings, my world, spirituality for me. Tapping into my spirituality from an emotional standpoint, water. For the earth, we have the lamentation on the boat, which is the chariot. So direction. So working my direction for where I'm going with my spirituality, perhaps. Justice for air. Again, so balance, knowledge, working in virtue with what I'm going on. Now, while I was shuffling this one, a few cards flew out. So I also had judgment. So again, following my own message, and the Queen of Pentacles. So standing in my power, that felt like at this point in time, with the crown and everything else that's going on there. And then for the fire card, I have the rods. So 4 of rods. So again, kind of celebration. So perhaps today I'm being asked to pull together myself, accept, acknowledge, and be, and to celebrate. We also have turning of the season. So we are leaving winter today, tomorrow, and we are entering spring. So again, my world is changing. So it could be that I'm being asked to honour the season. However, as I say, I will sit and ponder on these, because earth, air, elemental spreads isn't one I do very often. And again, I find that difficult to place these into my life without a set space. But for whatever reason, as soon as I got these cards, this is what I wanted to do with them. So we shall see how this turns out for me. So, this space is one to watch in future videos. I can't tell you how long this is going to take me, but we shall see what comes from this. But I just thought I'd show you what's going on with this and how I'm working with it. You'll see it again at the end of the month anyway, my wrap up, I'm very sure. Okay, we're down into the dungeons of the workshop, which has no natural light in at the moment, so it's quite dark and dull in here, and I don't have a stand, so this is handheld. So I'm going to do my daily morning pull, the one that I've been failing to do in my moon diary, and I did manage to do yesterday, so we'll do today, so we'll see what we get. And I did have out these 2 decks, and now I've swapped to these 2 decks. So this one I've shown, I have taken the card that came with the deck, I've stuck it to the box, and it has its own bag. My bags, I've put tags on so I can tell what's in the bag via the tag. I don't know if my cupboard is anywhere close to being able to, oh, it's okay, I'll just show you that bit. So there's the bags, and you can see they've all got my bags with their tags, and you can tell what's in them, all in there. So right, let's see what cards we pull. Okay, so let's take a look. So 2 cards flew out when I was shuffling the tarot. I have the 10 of Wands and the 5 of Pentacles. So originally I put them together. And then when I was shuffling my Fortune Teller Oracle cards deck from Amethyst Ascension, 2 cards flew out and landed over here somewhere. So picked them up and put them down, and then decided that it must have been in the order that I had them in my hand, because I had them backs facing up, that it was one for each card that came out. And here's what we got. So a powerful ally will appear in your life. Welcome them. And then we have a time of great prosperity is coming. Prepare yourself. So let's just ponder on these 4 cards. Now, first question is, do I have them all in the right place? I don't actually know, because we can move these around. So I could put them back to how they came out, which was this way. So I've got my 2 cards that came out, and we have ending, delegation, sharing my burdens with requesting help. So by getting rid of my burdens, I'm asking for help. And by asking for help, it will allow me to do things in a better way. Then these 2 came out this way. So we have the powerful ally, and a time of great prosperity is coming, getting ready to prepare. Now, the way I put them with this one with the 10 of Wands, that I think goes very well. And this one with the 5, I think they sort of go well. But whilst I was pondering this, I wondered what happens when you put them this way around. Right, so a time of great prosperity is coming. Prepare yourself, as we're coming to the end of a struggle. So could it be that those 2 go together? And with the 5 of Wands, a powerful ally will appear in your life. Welcome them. So was it these 2 that are meant to go together? It kind of feels a bit more this way round, but I'm a stickler for not moving cards around too much to create a narrative that I want to see. So this almost feels like I'm making my narrative. I feel like the cards should remain in the order in which they fell. So then let's move them and try them this way. So we've got them like this. So now it kind of reads as a 4. And because I'm still being true to the spread, I could be now cross-referencing my cards with the way that they're meant to read. I hope that makes sense. So the different ways in which you can read a spread. Now, I have seen people put cards down in an intuitive format, as in, do they like the colour, the pattern, the way they mix, which ones match, and they take their readings from there. Again, something I've not really been able to do. I don't know why. It may just be that this is, not my style, and this is my style. I don't know. We all have our own foibles and ways of working, but this is mine, and there is structure, because tarot has structure in many formats, but it's also there to be broken, which I understand, but there's still a structure that you should stick to within the breaking of the structure. Ponder on that for a second and repeat it 3 times. I don't think I could if I tried. So that's just another, food for thought when I'm doing my morning write-ups. So let me just think about this. I'm going to have to take a few minutes to think about this, and then we'll see what I come up with. Okay, so I really didn't get much further than my discussion with you guys. So here we are. Here's how it goes down. So my tarot cards always go first. So I've done it the way I always do it to see if it provides me with anything new. And the word I've got from this is offloading. So here's how I create my keywords. So my keyword from these 2 cards is offloading. So sharing the burden, requesting help. Knowing that I'm going to have a powerful ally that will come into my life, so I can welcome them. This person I think is going to help me with the offloading, and maybe even help me to enter a life of more prosperous growth. And then when I come to the front of the book, just this bit, I told you this just sits here permanently. And then what I'll do is I will write my 2 card symbols here, and I will write the word offloading. And by the power of magical film, there we are in. Now, whilst I was writing that, the next word came into my head was shedding, because I'm thinking, what am I offloading? And that spread that I just showed you from working with the Kalat cards and the elementals, shedding. We're coming into a new season. Here it is, spring equinox. So today's the 19th. Spring equinox is tomorrow, starts tomorrow. So we are shedding. So that all goes together with the offloading. So am I working with a powerful spirit, a powerful deity? Am I working with Mother Earth? That is something that I'll need to work out. Maybe that's where I go back to that Kalat spread and have a look again. But yeah, I think that's a curious way. They've all kind of matched into each other. But today I'm not really doing much, so I'm just pottering around the house. So as far as what my burdens are that I need to share and request help for today, I don't know that they're actually there, if you see what I mean. However, I do need to learn how to read those cards. Not a need. I'd like to figure that out faster than my brain will allow me. So maybe that's where I go. Maybe it's a chat with some girlfriends today. Perhaps I catch up with the ladies online if they're around and see where they're all at. Maybe there's a Crohn's Intuition live today. I don't know. Perhaps that's where I go. We shall see what this all unfolds for me. So another thing I have done today is I've made my dates. I got larger dates this time than I had previously. So these ones are quite big. They were stoned, so I've had to take the stones out. And these are almond nut butter stuffed with an almond, a mix of 100% chocolate, cacao and 85% very low sugar cacao chocolate, sorry. I'm just intermixing my words. These are covered in coconut. I've covered some in Himalayan salt, and I've covered some in sesame seeds. Yes, I said sesame seeds. I have no idea why I got toasted sesame seeds out. I think I had poppy seeds in my head, and it was only after I'd covered all of said dates with the items I was like, oh yes, that's correct. Not what I wanted to do. So thinking of my word shedding, these could well be what I need to do, because I need to shed the moment on my lips, forever on my hips, snacks that I've been naughtily, greedily eating that my partner keeps bringing home. Honestly, we have a drawer full of absolute junk food. He is a binge junk foodaholic person, builder, skinny, so it doesn't really matter too much for him, other than obviously, as I warn him, the potential future health issues that could hold for him. But has anyone ever tried to tell a builder what to do when it comes to food? It just doesn't work. So I'm just going to put some in here. Look at me trying to make it all look pretty. And then I'm going to stuff my face with a couple, because these do work. I think I've shown you, yeah, I did a video where I made these, and I think a couple of people made them, and I got some good feedback. It's not my recipe. It's one that's old and been around for a long time, stuffed dates. But these just help. I mean, I am a marathon Snickers bar chocoholic lady. They are my weakness, and these totally fill in my cravings for those items. And I have noticed that those things have been creeping back into my life in work when I'm having a really stressful day. You'll find me at that darn vending machine trying to get one out. It's taken me 3 years to work out how to use my card to purchase one from the machine, and I think that in itself is just hilarious. 3 years to work out how to use a vending machine with my card, because there's no instructions, and they made it really difficult for good reason. So what should I have? Let's try a salt one. I've never done them with salt before, so I'm going to try one of these. You can see the almond nut in there with the butter peeping out the side. So face on. The bit that was asked from one of my supporters or subscribers is, what are my top 5 wish for decks at the moment? And the previous video I did, I have achieved 2 or 3 of them. So they are no longer on my list. One remains on my list permanently. That is the 2 Ember Aura decks, either one. Not fussy. I just love the artwork on that deck. It was the one that had the smallest borders. That was my favourite, on the fronts of the cards, where the images were much bigger, because from my recollection, the images could be small, like they were smaller with a much bigger border, or they were slightly larger with a smaller border. They are big cards, however, but it was the one with the more enlarged looking images that I think was the one I wanted. And I had seen people who had taken them, because they were such big cards, then cut that border off to make the images fit so it looked like a borderless deck. And that probably is my plan to do that if I ever get hold of that deck. So that one still is on my wish list. So let's take a look and see what else is on my wish list. I'll see what I can get up on the iPad. Okay, so I'm hoping this is going to work. So the Ember and Aura, this one still remains, and I think it's possibly this one on my wish list. This is somebody who's cut their deck down. This is where I get my ideas from. but you just can't help it. It's just such a beautiful, oops, hang on a second, down for a minute. It's just such a beautiful, simple, very, very simple deck. Nice, easy images, but that's what I like about this. So this is the one. That stays there. I have Tarot de Luz, which I have convinced myself is a good replacement for this. It is. And do you know what? It works. That's a different deck. It works for me until somebody shows this deck. And then once they show this deck again, I'm like, oh, it's just so pretty. I want to stroke it. Anyway, that one remains on my list. And that was on my last list last time. The Mary L came out 2nd edition, so I now have that. That's no longer on my list. The Tarot of Echoes has been produced. I have that. That one's no longer on my list. Now, I had what was called the Painted Tarot or Textured Tarot. I don't know if I'm right. I'm not sure if this is the actual deck I'm thinking of. Now, somebody has shown it recently on TarotTube, and I didn't make a note where I saw it or who had it, but I'm just not sure if it's this one or if there's a deck that's between the two. And I believe it's now out of print anyway, so whatever it is, I'm never going to probably get my hands on. So whether I've got the name of the deck right or not, I just don't see the point in me worrying about, if that makes sense. But the Textured Tarot, Painted Tarot, I think there's something that matches the pair. As I say, I can't remember now. It's gone. But you might actually know which one I'm talking about because, you know, we give these instructions and somebody knows. So that's maybe the second one on my list, whichever one that is out of all of those. The Deviant Moon Oracle was on my list. Well, that one's being released soon, so that one no longer needs to sit on my list. It's coming out mass market, so it's not going to be an indie deck. Therefore, it's an easy, obtainable deck for me. And needless to say, I will be buying that one regardless. And I think that was my previous list, really. Tarot of Echoes has come out. I've purchased that one, so that was my list for there. So for this one, as I've said, Ember and Aura. The Textured Tarot, yeah, maybe. The Boo Tarot, definitely from Maria Celia, or Celia Maria, what's she called? Melsville, Celia Melsville. Mostly because France, for some reason, make it really difficult to get things into the UK. So I am not, like, it's hard enough or expensive enough getting stuff from America. At least that's coming across oceans and oceans, you know. I'm not paying more to get something in from France. And that's the problem with this. But the Boo Tarot is just so sweet and delightful and desirable, and Celia has a wonderful art style. So yeah, I would really like to own this one day. It's out there, my wish, but it's just so cutie, and it had sparkly bits on it. You know, I'm not going to lie, that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted it. So there's the Boo Tarot. So that's the Ember and Aura, and we'll say the Boo Tarot, shall we, for the minute? The other one that I would quite like is the Lili Black Tarot. Again, same creator, so there's a theme here. I can't get it across. Now I have the white, Lily White, but I don't have the Lili Black. So Lili Black is almost same deck, slightly different in imagery. But so that's the wheel card, I believe, being shown there in the difference. So they do look completely different. But they have this sort of midnight chalk effect to the images with the Lili Black Tarot. That's what I absolutely adore about it. So yeah, I would quite like to have the Lili Black Tarot. It's not an urgent thing. As I say, I do have this deck and it's absolutely beautiful. It's just another one of those kind of gorgeous artwork decks. She has also got this one, Tarot Renard. It's not on my list, but it's a cute deck and it's one that I would never say no to if it ever popped up. But yeah, so those ones. And then there is this one, which is on Make Playing Cards. So this is called the Old Souls Tarot, and it's been created by the reader that's using it here in this picture. So if I can find her, she's called Higher Self Consulting, and there's her link for the deck that she's created. From the Library of Congress. So I quite liked the look of this deck. Oh, same picture, or same images, just different point in her view. So this one. And I've also written down Dani's Mystic Masters, but I think it's the first edition, because the second edition she added more splash and things, and I didn't like that. So the first edition, Mystic Masters, again, that one's no longer created. So that's out of my wish list, out of my, not off my wish list, but out of my grasp, I suppose. So I think that's my 5. The Ember and Aura, the Old Souls Tarot, the Boo Tarot, the Lili Black Tarot, and the Textured Painted Tarot, or the one that I can't name that's between the two. So there we go. I can't think of anything else to say, and I believe that's probably enough of a wrap up for today. That's a long enough video of vlogging and nonsense for you all. So there's my top wish list. Let me know how your day goes. Are you going to make my date fig? No, dates. Yes, my date snacks. I've munched 6 of those down now. I'm absolutely stuffed, but they are just so delightfully gorgeous and so much healthier for me than getting out a Snickers bar. There's so much less sugar. I'm being a good girl. Until the next one, take care. Bye bye.